Welcome to Small Arms Solutions. A while back we did a video on making clones of M16 and M16A1 rifles. And that one was specifically done with this rifle we have here, which is a clone of an M16A1 carbine. And the base of it was the new Brownells components. For instance, this one here was the Brownells new retro upper and lower receiver and barrel assembly. At the time that this was done, this was prior to the complete retro line that Brownells came out with, including handguards, pistol grips, and stocks, and so forth. So we talked about doing a complete build video of showing building a AR from the ground up, and we decided what we were going to do is we were going to build a Brownells retro rifle. Well, that's what we're going to be doing. This is going to be a three-part series video. For the first part here, we're going to go over all these retro parts, what Brownells has done to bring back some of these original components. Because right now it appears to be there's really a big demand for the retro rifles. And I have to admit, my favorite rifles are the M16A1 rifles. Those are my all-time favorite of all these weapon systems. So I'm extremely pleased to see Brownells come out with these components because they're starting to dry up. Years ago you could find M16A1 handguards and pistol grips and stocks just everywhere in barrels. Not so much no more. The stuff is really dried up. And to find that stuff is pretty rare right now, especially to find it in good condition. The stock assemblies, the triangular handguards, a lot of times you could find those, but they're in less than pristine condition. The materials that were used back then are obsolete. They're no longer in use. So to try to find something that's going to be true to form is really not possible for as far as doing reproductions. So Brownells has really gone out of their way to manufacture these components to look really identical, but to use modern materials that are significantly stronger than the originals, so it's going to be a lot more durable. So what we're going to do is we're going to be going through all the components that we're going to be using on this build, and throughout the videos, we're going to be showing you the parts, and we're going to be showing you the Brownells part numbers, so it's going to be easier for you to go to their catalog to get these parts. Every part that you see here came from Brownells. These are all based on their retro kits, retro stocks, receivers, handguards, barrels. We're going to go over each set individually. Some of the stuff, for instance, like what you have here for as far as the lower receiver parts group, there's nothing special about it. It's just a standard one. But when it comes to the stocks and the receivers, that's where we get a little bit more, cut more into the original retro look. So what we're going to do is we're going to start doing that. First part we're going to look at is the retro barrel assembly. This is pretty cool because what they've done is they've recreated the 20-inch barrel, the 16-inch barrel, I believe the 14.7-inch barrel, and there may be a shorter one too that I just can't think of at the moment. Now, these are identical to the original A1 barrels, except these are 1 and 7-inch twist. Now, some people will be upset about that. They want the original 1 and 12, but the reality is, if you went with a 1 and 12, you're not going to be able to use a significant amount of the ammunition that's out there today. You won't really be able to go above 55 grain. And by going with a 1 and 7-inch barrel on this, there's no ammunition in the industry that you're not going to be able to shoot through this thing. As you can see on the spring weld here, you'll see this has the original round, round profile slip ring of the M16A1, not the delta ring of the A2. This comes already on as an assembly. Drilled and pinned front sight base. Now the flash suppressor I added onto here, the flash suppressor is also from Brownells. Now if you want to put a 3-prong on here, you can do that as well, but whatever you would like. Now this comes with a square front sight post. However, you will be able to purchase through Brownells one of the round A1 style as well. As you can see, you have your bayonet lug, you have your sling swivel, so you have a complete chrome barrel that is identical to the original A1 series. The next part that we want to take a look at are the new Brownells retro handguards. Now, as you can see, they have the heat shields pretty much identical to the originals. However, the material is Zytel. It's a modern, extremely high quality polymer. It gives you that look, but it also gives you the improvements over the last 50 years, 60 years of polymers being significantly stronger than the original material that the original handguards were made of. Now, Brownells, when they set out to do this, they weren't looking to make exact duplicates. They wanted to make ones that looked similar. But also it had the last 60 years of improvements as well. So the look is the same. The materials are going to be different, but you can definitely feel the difference between these and the original handguards. These are definitely going to be completely stronger than the original ones compared to just the durability of Cytel. Cytel is one of the most the strongest plastics in the industry. Next is the pistol grip. Now the pistol grip, this is for anybody who's looking to build any kind of A1s or M16A1 type clones. This is the hardest part to find that's in good shape. The new pistol grips that Brownells is putting out is Zytel. It's unlike the original material that was used. If you look at the original pistol grips, you're going to see a lot of discoloration from the way the coloring was put into it. So it's sort of hard to find ones that look like they're in good condition. These look perfect the way they're supposed to look, and being their Zytel, you're not going to have any discoloration issues. It's identical to the original, just much stronger. The next part Brownells came out with was a retro stock. Now this stock kit here is based more off the original Model 01s where you don't have the trap door. But if you look at this, it looks identical to the original. Again, this is made out of Zytel, much stronger than the original materials. This one is not going to scratch up the same way that the original ones did. It's a much improved, but it looks absolutely identical. And now this comes just as a stock assembly. This is a separate receiver extension, rifle length buffer tube, all which is available through Brownells as well. So this is what we're going to be basing the stock assembly off of. The Brownells retro upper receiver, M16A1. The forging for this upper receiver had come from Nodex buds, as you can see by the NDS that's on the carry handle. However, these were manufactured and machined by Brownells. So again, the forgings came from Nodex buds, but the machining was done by Brownells. Typical forward assist, no cartridge case deflector, A1 field sight. Or receiver, again, Nodex bud forging with the Brownells machining. Now this particular one is one of the, if you want to call it the seconds, or one of the blemished. What's blemished about this one is you have safe and fire on the right hand side. This was a mistake that was done at the engraver. So anytime you see this safe and fire, this is one of the ones that came through on the blemish line. From this being an A1 lower receiver, you can also tell by the fact you don't have the reinforcement in this area up here. You don't have the reinforcement towards the rear. So it's an exact duplicate A1 lower receiver. Again, please keep in mind this is blemished. This has the right side selector settings, and this will not be on your standard ones. Charging handle is nothing special. I believe this was a DPMS charging handle. I'll have the same colors. Now, the only, I guess, issue that I may say that I had with the Brownells retro receivers was the color. I would have much more liked to see these in an XM gray type color than the black. But for some reason, this is the way they decided to go with it. I'm sure a lot of people out there probably will refinish these to want to get more of the XM gray type color. The bolt carrier group here, I like chrome. And you guys, if you've been watching my videos, I'm much more of a fan of the chrome bolt carrier groups than I am a lot of these wonder finishes. This particular bolt carrier is a Rock River Arms. The forward assist that we're using is a DPMS. Now the forward assist, you can tell the difference between an original Colt versus any of these aftermarket ones. It's sort of difficult to be able to tell. I guess it's a trained eye that would be able to tell you, so that you'd be able to tell that this is not an original Colt one. But these are available. They serve the purpose perfectly for doing a retro. The M16A1s use pretty much the exact same ejection port dust covers we use today. The earlier models used one that was didn't have the reinforced detent. This particular one here came from Brownells, high standard actually. That's what we're going to be using. The A1 rear sights kits, Luth AR. Now these are newly manufactured. These are going to be the rear sight that we're going to be using, all complete A1. So these are the components that we're going to be using to build up our M16A1 from all the Brownells components. Now, if you were to want to build a carbine, as you saw, we can do the carbine as well. The parts that are most difficult to come across for the carbine are going to be the stock. This is an original stock. The aluminum type stock, this one particular one came from Troy Industries. I'm not sure if Troy is selling these or not. I sort of wish he would, because nobody makes anything like this in the industry. These are the original Colt Handguards, which are very rare now. These went out of production in 2009. There's a lot of reproductions out there, which if you were to compare the reproductions to the Colts, you can see they're night and day. The Colt ones are indestructible. The ones that you're going to find commercially, you can squish them in your hand. They're not the quality of these original ones. Again, this barrel, 16-inch barrel. I did replace the front sight with a round front sight post on this one. For the most part, these are the exact same components that they're used in this carbine, except for the bolt carrier, and this one's a Colt bolt carrier. This is an original Colt pistol grip. Now, when you look at the two of them, they're not much different. The Zytel is just a little bit darker, but other than that, it's absolutely identical. And if you look at the handguards on this one, these handguards are a little bit more shiny. The original material that was used versus the ones that are being manufactured on by the Zytel. The Zytel is a little bit more flat in color, but again, the quality is there, absolutely. This is the earlier ejection port cover. This is not the reinforced type detent. But for the most part, these are the exact components that were used on here, with the exception of the specific ones that make it a carbine. And what our plan is we're going to be building the rifle from the ground up. We're going to start with doing the lower receiver, assembling a lower receiver, and then from there we're going to go to the upper receiver, show you how to do the barrel install, and then finally we're going to take it out to the range. We're going to put some rounds through it to show you that what we build actually works. So we're going to be going through that in an additional 2 parts. One's going to be just the lower receiver, and the other one's going to be assembly of the upper receiver in some range video. So if you have any questions throughout this, please leave me a comment. We're going to be going through some tools as well. A lot of you guys have asked about my toolbox, what tools that I use. All the tools as well are come from Brownells. For as far as armorers tools, there's no place in the industry that makes better tools than Brownells. They carry pretty much every tool that's ever been made, for as far as I can see. And they have a lot of tools that make this whole process of assembling these rifles so much easier than the original tools that the Army had when the rifles came out. There's the barrel wrenches. There's so much better stuff out there now than there was in the past. So we'll see you in the next video. If you have any questions, again, please leave me a comment, and I'll try and get back to you. If you enjoyed this video, please click like, please subscribe, even better, share.